Okay. All right. We're going, Glenn. Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
My name is Frances Webster. I am the co-founder and CEO of Walrus. We're an advertising agency based in New York City, and on stage with me.
Yep, I'm Madelaine Worthy. I'm Group Media Director at Levelwing.
and we are thrilled to be here. Thank you to the entire Dig South team for this amazing event. Congrats on 10 years. Walrus has actually attended and spoken at several of these events, and it's just so nice to be back here in person. So what we're going to talk, we've already introduced ourselves. So what we're going to talk about today is how to build a recruitment advertising campaign. And that may sound as interesting as watching paint dry, but the reality is the competition for talent is more fierce than it has ever been. There is no slack in the talent line. So it's super important that you have a well thought out strategy for how you're going to do that. And the work that Levelwing and Walrus have done for Northwest Arkansas that we're going to talk about, Walmart, Lenovo, and Bridgestone have informed these recommendations. So 2 key takeaways from today's presentation. Number 1, typically recruitment campaigns focus on bottom of the funnel acquisition efforts, right? Apply here, this job, all that stuff. That will yield quantity, but not necessarily quality. And these are people who are actively seeking new jobs. Key takeaway number 2, as I mentioned, the competition for top talent is as fierce as it's ever been. So it's critical to employ a recruitment campaign that combines both brand and acquisition efforts to be successful. What that means is you need to build a case for why your company or region is better than the competition. And if you do that well, you will expand your pool from just active to passive candidates. And we'll talk about it a little bit more. Before we get into this, we're going to give you a quick snapshot on Walrus and Levelwing so you can understand where we're coming from as agencies and who we are. So Walrus, founded in New York City in 2005, right off of Union Square. We're celebrating our 17th year in business next week. Thank you. 30 employees, independently and founder owned by myself and Deacon Webster. And that is our website. If we're known for one thing, we're famous for smart, funny, and distinctive ideas that put the audience first. Advertising is interrupting someone's day. So if you're not going to put something out there that respects someone's time and intelligence, gives them something that's useful, smart, and funny, that they will reward you for that. Our work is different by design. And what that means is we encourage our clients to really stand out from their category. If you're not willing to stand out in the advertising that you're doing, unless you're spending like $500 million, then don't advertise. So example of this is an ad for Kingston fruit bars that had half the sugar, where we literally took a half billboard out in San Diego to launch it. And this is for Lowe's Foods, local food grocery store chain down here, celebrating Chicken Fest 2020 with a chicken going, "Bakak!" Not your typical grocery store ad. And here, this ad for iconic steakhouse, Smith & Wollensky, where average lunch is about $350. Typically, you're going to see a steak with a glass of red wine. Here, we leaned into the fact that they were unchanged since 1977 with this headline, "We'll be honest, we have no idea who Kanye is." So it's that kind of stuff that really does help you stand out. Everything we do transforms the ordinary. We encourage our clients to flip the script on their category. So what that means. So for Emergency of Vitamin C Brown, we create an entire world of personified fruit. Or for a new cereal we launched for General Mills called Tiny Toast. This is targeting teens. This is a man dressed as a sheep shaving another man's back while that man eats cereal. Not your typical bite and smile. And here is Los Angeles commemorative Kobe Bryant cover, where he's just floating in space. You can just barely see the masthead. There's no other copy. It really does capture you and jumps off the newsstands. And finally, we find magic in the small stuff. So yes, everyone loves to make Super Bowl ads, but you know what? If you take a minute with a shelf talker or a Google search copy, or even that recruitment ad on LinkedIn, you will be rewarded. That's such a great opportunity to just surprise and delight people on the other end. So for Tesla, we wrote, "My next car won't have one of these" on a bumper sticker. And so Slow Mag is a magnesium supplement that was literally on the bottom shelf of CVS. So it says, "It only hurts the first time you bend down for it," as a store claim. And this is Maloney and Perselli, another steakhouse client of ours. They had a construction hole in front of their restaurant for about 6 months, not ideal for business. So we're like, huge creative opportunity. So we just put this sign up here that said, "This hole would look a heck of a lot better in front of Del Frisco's," which is a competitor of theirs across town, right? And we love to poke fun of them. So there's creative opportunity everywhere. And why we do this? Because it's too expensive not to. Creativity is a major business multiplier, whether that's media or the concepts. And I'm not just saying that because we like to dress men up as sheep and shave other men's backs. It's proven out in study after study, right? So this is a Kantar study that shows ads that make a brand seem really different are more likely to drive sales. So in the, is that the X or the Y?
Hi.
Thank you. Short-term sales likelihood percentile, and down here, ad made the brand seem really different. Those that scored in the top third had an 80% chance more of driving sales versus bottom third, 55. That's a material difference there. So really do try hard to make your work as creative as possible. And it works. We've been Ad Age Small Agency of the Year twice, Campaign of the Year twice. We've won Effie's, Ken Lion, and one show. Pencils, et cetera, et cetera. And these are the clients that we work with. So it's a diverse group, everything from Walmart to Lowe's Foods to JetEdge, which is a private aviation group, to grocery and entertainment brands. The through line on all of these clients is if you meet these marketers, they genuinely they're coming to us because they want to do standout work and they realize the status quo is no longer working. So with that.
Yeah. So Levelwing is a media-centric agency. We're deeply rooted in data and analytics, and that's really the fuel that everything that we do from brand and performance campaigns. We were launched 20 years ago in New York and have since moved headquarters here to Charleston and also have satellite offices in Nashville. We have about 62 employees, some scattered throughout the country, and like Walrus, we are independent and founder-owned. Our capabilities span strategy across brand, product, media, and analytics. As mentioned, that's really the foundation of what we do. Media planning and buying and campaign management, and web and marketing analytics. And we work really closely with Walrus on several campaigns, one of which we'll walk through momentarily for the Northwest Arkansas Council, both from a recruitment standpoint and other types of campaigns as well across global brands. So as Francis mentioned in the upfront, really the root of the issue with recruitment campaigns right now is that so much is focused solely on the bottom of the funnel and really focusing on only folks that are actively showing intent based on search or looking, actively looking for jobs. The long-term growth opportunity is really focusing on building that brand. I know Francis already kind of teed this up, but that's how you're going to see that growth for your brand overall and drive not only the quantity of candidates, but also the quality of candidates. People are looking for that long-term career. So typically, as mentioned, most recruitment campaigns are focused on that bottom of the funnel, which is really only 30% of the audience pool or the targeting pool that's available. There's this 70% of passive candidates that are candidates who are not even yet aware of the opportunity and need to be, targeted in order to build awareness around brands or general areas, which we'll speak to inform them of the opportunity and drive them to build that targeting or that talent pool. So how do we do this? We bifurcate media into two kind of buckets. One is the push channels that are designed to create demand, and then pull channels that harness that existing demand, which is finite. In order to grow that demand, we have to grow brand. So it's a combination of both. Within the pull channels, we're looking at those active people who are indicating intent in real time, looking for jobs based on job board searches or traditional Google and Bing searches. But really the meat of building that brand is on this passive side here. And that's using really highly impactful brand storytelling tactics like video across connected TV, online channels, social channels, as well as things like out of home that's really impactful in market. So I'm going to flip it back to Francis. She's going to walk us through some Northwest Arkansas Council.
Yep. So Northwest Arkansas Council LifeWorks Here campaign. So the Northwest Arkansas Council is an economic development group that is funded by Walmart, the Walton Family Foundation, J.B. Hunt, Tyson, Simmons Foods, and the University of Arkansas. And they hired Levelwing and Walrus to develop an image building and awareness campaign to attract top talent from outside of the region. They had 12,000 open jobs. So a lot of jobs to fill that they couldn't just source from local talent. But before I go into the story any further, I feel like we should actually identify where Arkansas and Northwest Arkansas is on a map. So let's do that. So here it is. right in the heartland of America, surrounded by Oklahoma, Missouri, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Texas. And that red dot is Northwest Arkansas. And that is comprised of Washington and Benton counties. And they have 5 cities. That's Bentonville, Fayetteville, Springdale, Rogers, and Siloam Springs. Nice little poster over here. So just to give you a sense of what's happening in Northwest, oh, I gotta go, can I go back one? There we go, thank you so much. So just do a quick Google search survey, and it is very clear that this is anything but flyover country. Northwest Arkansas is home to 3 Fortune 500 companies, including the Fortune 1. It has the largest concentration of white-collar workers, and they have spearheaded this massive quality of life initiative that just makes it like a nice place to live. So they have over 500 miles of purpose-built mountain biking trails. They have world-class art museums, award-winning chefs. It really is an incredible place to live. So the council realized they had an amazing product, but they needed to go out and talk to prospective talent in their target markets, like Austin and Seattle, Minneapolis, Denver, Atlanta, to figure out, do you even know we exist? And what do you think of us? And here's what they found. 3 main barriers, right? 1 was recognition, 2 was relevance, 3 was reputation. So let's break that down a little bit. Recognition. So Nashville, for example, has about 98% universal aided awareness, while Bentonville only had 31%. What that means is moderator says, have you ever heard of Bentonville? Have you ever heard of Nashville? So we realized we really lagged our competitive cities. Relevance. This is where respondents said, is that place going to match my ambition? Is there anything to do there? I'm from Southeast Asia. I'm African American. Am I going to feel welcome there? So that was another hurdle we had to overcome. And then reputation. So people would be asked, do you believe that Walmart is based here? Or do you believe that the University of Arkansas is based here? And they'd go, yeah, I believe that. But then when they would say, do you believe that it has the 14th highest personal income or the 6th best place to live? And people would say, no, I don't believe that at all. So we realized our task was twofold. We had to not only raise the profile of the region, let people know what was going on, but also rewire the way people thought about it, so that when that top tech, STEM, and entrepreneur talent were contacted by recruiters from Walmart and JB Hunt, that they be open to actually taking the interview and relocating. So that's what we've done. Our approach has been a combination of earned, owned, paid, and promotional activity with that real balance between brand and acquisition. That's done an incredible job of building a narrative of Northwest Arkansas as a place where the ambitious come to craft a fulfilling life. And the campaign tagline / platform is this idea of life works here. And to unpack that a little bit, that means it really is a place where there's this incredible quality of life matched with this enormous economic opportunity. So you can come and start your electric car company, get an amazing marketing job at Walmart, and go mountain biking with your kids in the afternoon. So with that, I'm going to play a video that's a little bit of a case study. And here we go.
This is Northwest Arkansas, birthplace of Walmart, Tyson Foods, and JB Hunt, and gateway to the Ozarks, which you've probably heard of because of that Netflix show.
We're down to Gun Roost. You ain't gonna kill your daddy.
Why not?
For the most part, this little corner of the country is off the radar to today's legions of tech and STEM workers who are itching to bounce from the high-priced, high-density confines of cities like San Francisco and Seattle. But with 12,000 jobs, the Northwest Arkansas Council needed to find a way to let people know that the region was actually a great place to live and work. Life Works Here was a regional economic development campaign that aimed to do just that. Rewire the way people think about the region, starting with an incentive program that offered $10,000 and a mountain bike to people who agreed to relocate to Northwest Arkansas and work remote.
Geez, $10,000 and a bike? Are you serious?
Word spread quickly.
Do you want to make an extra $10,000? It's time to move to Northwest Arkansas.
Northwest Arkansas offers $10,000.
It'll pay you $10,000.
$10,000.
In key talent hubs, we set out to demonstrate that Northwest Arkansas has the work-life balance our audience was longing for.
Dear family, I'm writing to inform you that we're moving to Northwest Arkansas. Yep, you heard that right. It's not what you think. There's actually a lot going on. 3 huge companies, lots of startups, and your money goes way further. That's the art museum. And that one too. And well, I guess there's just art all over. And the mountain biking, seriously, there's opportunity everywhere. Maybe that's why everybody's suddenly moving here. Anyway, you'll see. Northwest Arkansas, life works here. How to tell your friends you're moving to Northwest Arkansas. First, tell them you're moving, but not to Florida. Then tell them the place 30 people are discovering each day, where you get way more for your money, great biking, restaurants, and a bump in your career. Then watch the gears turn in their heads. Northwest Arkansas, life works here. How to tell your parents you're moving to Northwest Arkansas. Step 1, assure them you're not moving back in with them. Step 2, tell them you're moving to a place designed for you to make it on your own. Step 3, mentally prepare for lots of visits. Northwest Arkansas, life works here. How to tell your spouse you're considering a move to Northwest Arkansas. Step 1, remind them of your vows. Step 2, dream job, real house, bike trails, commute time, art museums, food scene. It's like Austin, but cheaper. Keep going. Step 3, Zillow rabbit hole. Northwest Arkansas, life works here.
A relocation toolkit helped people compare home prices and even build a custom slideshow to help convince loved ones that moving was a good idea. It worked. The incentive campaign garnered 190 plus media placements with 2.3 billion impressions and over 35,000 submissions and counting. We saw a 185% increase in web traffic from Denver and Minneapolis and a 600% increase from Seattle, 500% increase from Austin. Digital drove 22,000 plus visitors to findingnwa.com, and over 2,000 plus looked into jobs on findingnwa.com.
I'm definitely gonna call my mom.
This is gonna be amazing.
I just never had given a thought to Arkansas. I feel like I won the lottery.
When we went to go visit Arkansas, it felt like a different country, like a secret place.
Thank you. So just to remind us that 2018, things were not looking great, right? Low awareness, and people thought, that place just doesn't sound like it's for me. Fast forward 2022, LifeWorks here is working. We've actually just did a brand tracker survey. We bumped that number up from 31% to 52% aided awareness. That's not universal. We still have work to do, but we're getting there. And nearly 7 in 10 have a favorable perception based on the work that we're doing. So that's important. And now I'm going to pass it back over to Madelaine to talk about the campaign that just was in market.
Yeah, so we just ran a phase 2 campaign building on the success of that first campaign. It ran from February through April. This is the Moments That Matter framework that we typically use for all media planning. And the campaign that was launched in market was in 6 key markets that I index high for top tech talent. Those are Denver, Dallas, Atlanta, Austin, Seattle, and Minneapolis. And this is the framework for how we reach the folks within those target markets. So if we look at how this is segmented, it's really 3 parts. So the situation, or really moment in time, or time in which someone is in their consumer journey, the obstacle we have to overcome, and then how we win that opportunity. So within the awareness phase, it's what is the opportunity for me in Northwest Arkansas? What even is Northwest Arkansas? Where is it on a map? So here we're trying to build that familiarity, and we do so by using really highly impactful brand storytelling tactics. I mentioned these in the upfront, but really using video, as you just saw several of the spots, across online channels, YouTube, Facebook, as well as connected TV. Out of home in these markets, which build really, really strong reach and make an impact in market. And using broad reach audiences, or combination of broad reach audiences, to leverage targeting that is going to help us be effective in reaching the right people. So using job title targeting and interest-based targeting for that tech talent, as well as lookalike audiences that are built from people who have already visited the site. So it's someone that looks like your existing target. Moving on to that consideration phase, why should I consider Northwest Arkansas? Within this phase, we're trying to educate people on the area and really tell them the story of why it's so wonderful to be there and to make that move for their career. So we do that by retargeting, both from an awareness standpoint. We can retarget people who have been exposed to the video, and also retargeting people who have visited the site to re-engage them and build that frequency of message to drive them further down the funnel. And then lastly, within that conversion piece, we're ultimately trying to drive people to move to the area and take jobs within several of these companies. So we do that with people who are, again, indicating intent in real time, whether it's in search platforms like Google and Bing, or job forums and LinkedIn as well. And really, the best value that we can bring when it comes to telling the success of the campaign is having a framework in place that tells the story to the clients of why what we're doing is successful. And if we can't do that, then we bring zero value. So this is our framework for measurement, starting with that exposure. Are we driving impact to the target audience? Are people engaging with our ads? Are people engaging with the website? What are they doing when they get to the website? What can we learn from that? Are people being influenced? Are we changing their perception? Are we changing the attitudes about the area to our target audience? And then ultimately, are we driving people to activate? Are we driving them to apply for jobs on the website and look for opportunities? And then advocacy is really one of the biggest pieces. It's, are we creating virality with the work that we do? And are we building word of mouth? If you want to move on to the next slide. So here are some of the stats just from the phase 2 campaign, as mentioned, it just wrapped in April. We drove significant increase in site visitation to the site from these key markets. So 162% increase in site visitation overall. 50% of site visitation is from our key markets who we identified and targeted. And 70% of visitors can directly be attributed to our paid media campaign. And then within the conversion piece, we drove over 2,500 people looking for actual job opportunities on findingnwa.com. One of the relocation incentives that we haven't spoken to yet, but was an addition of this, is Bitcoin and a bike, driving 200 plus media placements, significant impressions, 306 million impressions, and 25,000 submissions to the program.
Yeah. So really that combination of that promotional, like those Bitcoin and a bike layered on with the paid advertising, kind of all boats rise on that. And the out of home itself, like you think, oh, well, it's not targeted, but that actually gets a lot of, like, people get on social media, start talking about it because we're kind of poking fun at these different markets, like we're coming for your talent, right? And that's one, someone actually talking about your ad, that's fantastic. But up in Seattle, for example, Seattle Magazine is going to run an entire article on the campaign itself in their June issue. So that just extends the campaign even further. So net, LifeWorks here is working. It is a multi-year economic development campaign to tell an elevated and cohesive story about the region. And that's, we should just pause here for a second. When we talk about building brand, this is not a one and done. This is, you really are making an investment from a time and money standpoint. And then you're looking anywhere from 6 months to 3 years to see a return on that investment. The combination of branding and activation or acquisition, it's something we keep saying. It would be an omni-channel approach yields the greatest response. And most importantly, our corporate stakeholders who are funding this are actually adopting it. So Walmart is using the videos. XNA Airport has actually hired us to do an entire rebrand of their visual identity. So that to us shows that it's working because they're on the front lines of selling Northwest Arkansas. So with that, I'm just going to take us back to our key takeaways. Typically, recruitment efforts rely on those bottom of the funnel acquisition tactics. That's going to give you quality, not quantity necessarily, and it's all those actively seeking candidates. The competition for top talent is as fierce as it's ever been. So do just take the time to build the brand, build a story about why your company or your region is better, and then layer on the acquisition efforts, and that will ultimately yield, the best results. So with that, thanks on 2 different lines. Thank you.
Thank you.
I remember flashbacks sliding